Okay, hi everyone. So welcome to another session of MBA Pathshala. So today we're gonna go for para Jumbles, which is again a very important topic, not just for CAT but for every single examination. So let's proceed for this. Now, before starting with the session, I would like to inform you again that we have started with the 45 days CAT marathon, which is mainly focusing on how to solve higher level CAT questions. And mock discussion will be there, live doubt clearing sessions will be there, and you will have many more to learn. And apart from that, you will also learn to go for short tricks, because many a time students suffer with this problem, that how to proceed with the question in the minimum time available. Okay, so this is how the schedule looks like to give you more clear scenario of the CAT marathon. Okay, starting with our questions. So, see, this is how a parasymbol question looks like. Now, instead of just wasting time on anything else, let's start with the session. Now, people with dyslexia have difficulty with print reading, and people with autism spectrum disorder have difficulty with mind reading. Okay, so when you start reading a passage or all the sentences given to you, first reading will obviously give you the familiarity with these passage, but when you are reading the passage, just to get familiar with this, make sure that you keep pointing out the key elements. Like here, the key element is dyslexia. It means problem and consequences, that is difficulty in reading. Then again, one more problem and consequences. Okay, now, second, an example of lost cognitive instinct is mind reading, a capacity to think of ourselves and other as having beliefs, desire, thoughts, and feelings. Okay, so one thing we can see from this is that here we have introduced mind reading. Why? It is said that it is an example of it, and then we are explaining that what exactly mind reading is. So this is more like an introduction to mind reading, so that we can say, because in this we have only explained what mind reading is. That's it. Apart from that, nothing else. Proceeding, mind reading looks like increasingly like literacy, a skill we know for sure is not in our genes, since script have been around for only 5,000, 6,000 years. Okay. Now here we are basically providing further description to mind reading. Okay. Second clearly says that it is introducing the mind reading, and third comes up with the more explanation related to mind reading. So one thing I'm assured of is that second and third will have the sequence. I don't know there will be any sentence in between these two sentences, but yes, third will definitely come after second. Proceeding to fourth one, print reading, like mind reading, varies across cultures, depends heavily on certain parts of the brain, and is subjective to developmental disorders. Okay, so one thing which caught my mind is that print reading, like mind reading. So we are basically comparing print reading with mind reading. So we can assume that, we can come up, I'm so sorry. We can come up with this conclusion that print reading is basically introduced here. So how many sentences I can see of print reading and how many sentences we can see related to print reading? That is first and fourth. True. So as I can clearly see that fourth one is introducing the print reading. So obviously first one will come after that, because as it is basically a rule of any passage or any topic, first we introduce that what we are talking about, and then we go for the explanation. पहले हमें introduce तो करना पड़ेगा that okay, we are about to talk about this. So we are having basically two sequence with us. That is 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That 4 will come first and 2 will come after that, and 2 will come first, 3 will come after that. Okay. Now let's try to find connections between these, whether it will be 2, 3, 4, 1, or whether it will be 2, 4, 1 or 3. We can't really say. So here I come up with two options which I can have, whether it is 2, 4, 1, 3, because 4 and 1 has to be together, because if I take or if I keep any of these two sentences, that is second and third, between 4 and 1, it will actually break the flow of the sentence. Why? Because then what I'll be doing is that first in fourth sentence, I'm talking about printing, then I'm again talking about mine, then I'm again talking about printing, and then I'm again talking about mine, which will break the flow. Ideally, we talk about one thing and completes it, and then we switch to the next topic. Okay, so this is why we cannot separate fourth and first. Same goes for the second and third as well. If you see, second and third are basically connected because this is introducing the topic, and there is only one option which is providing description to mind reading, that is third one. So I can say the correct one can be this. True, because even if we see that which sentence can be our first one, if fourth one, because we know that before first there has to be fourth, so first cannot have that first sentence ka formula with us, and third ke pehle there has to be second. Okay, so first and third cannot qualify as first sentence. We are left with only second and fourth. You can easily see that people with dyslexia have difficulty with. I'm so sorry. An example of lost cognitive instinct is mind reading, introducing mind reading. Fourth says print reading like mind reading. So this like word says that I have already introduced mind reading somewhere. Okay, so that's why my correct sequence will be second, third, fourth, and first. Just giving you a brief description again. First and fourth, talking about print reading. Second and third, talking about mind reading. Second is introducing mind reading. Third is providing further explanation to mind reading. Fourth, again, introduces print reading, that what it is like mind reading. So something related to mind reading will come first of before fourth sentence, which are these two sentences. And last will be first, as we are continuing what print reading or something related to print reading in first one. So obviously, this will be our sequence. If you guys have any doubt or any question, you guys can come up with it. Okay, so proceeding for next question. Okay, this says that metaphors may map to similar meanings across languages, but their subtle differences can have a profound effect on our understanding of the word. So basically, I'm talking about languages, metaphor, and effect. Okay, now second sentence says that Latin scholars point out carpe diem is a horticulture metaphor that, particularly seen in the context of its source, is more accurately translated as plucking the day, evoking the plucking and gathering of ripening fruits or flowers, enjoying a moment that is rooted in the sensory experience of nature, unrelated to the force implied in seizing. Okay, so this is basically talking about the difference between the accurate meaning of carpe diem and how we are using it as a metaphor. Now, third says the phrase carpe diem, which is often translated as seize the day, and its accompanying philosophy has gone on to inspire countless people in how they live their lives and motivate us to see the world a little differently from the norm. Okay, so third one is basically introducing carpe diem, because it is telling us that, because in second it is talking us that how we are using it as metaphor, but it is a metaphor that is introduced in third one. Okay, so third one is basically introducing us with carpe diem and how it is used and in what manner we are using it. So one thing, again, I come up with one thing, that before second, it will be third, because it is introducing the carpe diem and then we are going for the explanation. Now let's see the fourth one. It's an example of one of more telling ways that we mistranslate metaphors from one language to another, revealing in the process our hidden assumptions about what we really value. Okay, so if I have to divide the passage, third and second talking about carpe diem specifically. Fourth is talking about that. See, this is the example that how they are, how we are mistranslating metaphors and everything. And first one is more like it seems more like in conclusion to us that it is coming to an end. That see how metaphors may map to similar meaning across language, but their subtle differences can have a profound effect on our understanding of the world. So this seems more like a conclusion on the basis of problem and introduction given to us. So third is more like introduction. Second is basically problem related to metaphor. We have described that what is the real meaning, what is the literal meaning of carpe diem. Okay, that what is the literal meaning and what is basically problem related to it. Literal meaning tha hamara plucking the day, and as a metaphor we are using seize the day. So third introduces us with the metaphor. Second introduces with the literal meaning and how we are using it very absolutely unrelated way, in an absolutely unrelated way with metaphor. So these two are talking about carpe diem specifically. Fourth is basically addressing the example that is addressed in second and third. So fourth has to be after third and second. Now, this is the sequence we are having currently. Now, all I need to see that where I need to put first sentence. As I already told you, that this sounds more like a metaphor. It does sounds like it does sounds like a conclusion, because it is basically concluding कि हमने carpe diem पे example लिया. After that we came up with the problem. After that we came up the example of the problem, and then we concluded that metaphor may map to similar meaning across the language, but their subtle differences can have a profound meaning. If I go somewhere, I've taken a phrase from suppose French language. So I'm using that as metaphor, but if I'll go there and I'll use that metaphor, that might make them interpret something else. So that's why fourth one concluded that we might be taking metaphors like a similar language we'll be sharing. I'll understand, you'll understand, but might be it will create a problem when it comes to understanding the different languages. Okay, so correct sequence will be 3, 2, 4, 1. Introduction, problem, example of problem, and conclusion. Third becomes my introduction. Second becomes my problem. Fourth become my example of problem, and this becomes my conclusion. Clear to everyone? If you guys have any question, you guys can come up with it. Else we'll switch to another question. Okay, this one. Now, if you have seen a little line of text on websites that says something like customers who bought this also enjoys that, you have experienced this collaborative filtering with Stan. Okay, so first thing that catch my eyes is that this pronoun is always used when at the place of noun. It means we have already spoken about certain thing, then only we can use pronoun. So this says that I have already spoke something about collaborative filtering in any other sentence. Okay, so I can clearly, one thing I get from this is that this cannot be my first sentence for sure. The problem with these algorithms is that they don't take into account a host of nuances and circumstances that might interfere with their accuracy. Okay, so this sentence basically talks about problem with these algorithms. Again, specify ho gaya that what the sentence is talking about. And one more thing, again, this cannot qualifies as our first sentence because these algorithm. It means we have spoken somewhere about this in any other sentence. So again, this cannot be my first sentence. Moreover, I have come up with a point that is this sentence is talking about a problem related to algorithm. Third says, if you just bought a gardening book for your cousin, you might get a flurry of links to books about gardening recommended just for you. The algorithm has no way of knowing you hate gardening and only bought the book as a gift. Okay. Now, fourth says that collaborative filtering is a mathematical algorithm by which correlations and co-occurrence of behaviors are tracked and then used to make recommendation. Okay. Again, I got one hint, that is here it says the algorithm, but here it says only algorithm. Recall the rules of articles. We use the only when we have already introduced that particular thing in the passage. It means this is a definite article. So it means somewhere I have already introduced the algorithm, which is here because it is not using the in it. It means we have just introduced here it here, and after that I can use because I have already specified that which algorithm I'm talking about, which we have specified in fourth one. So first of all, fourth qualifies as my first sentence, very first thing. Okay, now first qualifies as my first sentence. Now I need to see that what relations they have. So first one, these collaborative filterings, to which it is addressing to, that is which is given in fourth. Collaborative filtering we have introduced in fourth one only. We have introduced that what collaborative filter is a mathematical algorithm, whatever it is, we have introduced in fourth one. So now these collaborative filterings, so this has to be after fourth, because this is basically addressing to fourth sentence. Now coming to next, this is more like an example of problem, how algorithm fail. Excuse me. This is basically an example. Second and third. Now we are left with only two sentences. Let's read them again. The problem with these algorithm. Okay. So in the remaining sentence, we are providing you with that what the problem is related with these algorithm. So second is talking about problem, and third says that if you just bought a gardening book for your cousin and it comes with the example. So firstly I introduce my problem, and then I go for example of the problem. Suppose in general life also, first we describe that, see, this is my problem, and then we keep on showing the examples that, see, this problem exists. Same is happening here also. One pair comes that second is talking about the problem, what is the problem and how algorithm failed. Okay, that is what we are talking about in second. And in third, we are giving the example of problem, that how algorithm fails. So this becomes a pair. We already have a pair here too. And fourth, as it is my first sentence, so after that I'm left with only one choice, that is this. Four, introducing the collaborative filtering. First one, example of it, collaborative filtering ka. Second, coming up with a problem related to the algorithm. And third, example of the algorithm, problem of the algorithm, sorry. Okay, so this is how we can form our paragraphs jumble, and we can form a coherent passage from the given sentences to us. Now these are the kind of questions, those are called theta questions, that is type in the answer, in which you need to type the answer. No options will be given to you. Okay, so when no options are given to you, things become little tricky. But if we use proper hints and if we divide the passage topic wise, it becomes easier to solve the question. Okay, because if you are talking about one specific topic, make sure that you describe all about this in one single go. Suppose three sentences are talking about one single topic, make sure that you keep those three sentences together, and then you switch to the another topic given in the passage. Okay, like here these were all about problems related to algorithm example, and these what collaborative filtering is. Okay, so this is the right sequence, that is 4 1 2 3. If you guys have any doubt or any question, you guys can come up with it. Okay, so this is all about today's session. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have actually gained something from it, and you can utilize it when you practice or whenever you appear for your examination. By the time, keep practicing and take care, guys.